OneQuantum SA. As Doc has mentioned, the global chapter, OneQuantum, its aim is to actually build strong local ecosystems, mostly focused on quantum technologies. So the initiative has been started in Africa, and we've had countries from the southern part. Now we see West African countries are also joining up. East, then in the north we only have I think Libya for now. But within that space, maybe I might talk in SA space. I think we are at an advantageous position where already we have that solid foundation in terms of the key players in building such an ecosystem. Those players, your government, as well as industry, and then the third one being the researchers in the field. So in terms of research or academia, there's a very strong research groups across the country, and I think we are able to leverage of that. In terms of industries, yes, they span across from finance, but I think we still have to drive that conversation with them more. And then government, they've already given their key support by firstly announcing a fund, which was around 500 USD, 500,000 US dollars, and that is mostly aimed at developing quantum technologies around photonics-based systems, because there's a group, especially in VETS, that is actually heading up this initiative. So maybe we might say they might have been biased at selecting the photonics, but also it's worthwhile to highlight that BRICS is the what do you call? So it's different countries. You have Brazil, Russia, China, and India. They've also set up an initiative for quantum. In terms of details around there, I'm not sure as to which specific group is actually involved, but I know one professor was actually involved in that discussion. So I think in essence terms, we're pretty much advantageous in terms of having those foundation systems. I guess now in case of other countries that don't have, I think the talk will come, how do you set up those? Who are those key players you think they have influence across industries, especially in tech? And then can we get a word of mouth from them? What do they think of this, so that we drive those conversations forwards? I would like perhaps you, Dorcas, share as to in Ghana, who are the key researchers, even though their research interests lie outside quantum, but how can we drive that that intersection of what the research they're doing and what the chapter in Ghana is trying to achieve? And then once we've picked out those ones, let's have them here, or since this is a launch, the next event, maybe have them there, discuss how can we drive this. I'm sure maybe the audience as well would have points or pointers to how can we drive this conversation from there. In government, who's most likely to give that ear or lending ears around this? I think also identifying those people. They may not, of course, be around science or technology, but perhaps in communication, media, or people who are able to drive this innovative thinking and talk. In industries, which are your biggest industries that you have? Is it in terms of agriculture or automobile? Which ones are those? Who can you have the conversation with and see where can you both meet? And I think that's maybe how you can kickstart the foundation in Ghana. Thanks. Was my small points. I think you're on mute, Dorcas. Sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, it was great to hear how South Africa is actually advancing in quantum computing, and congratulations to the funds you have received as well. It's great to hear that sister country is doing well in that field. And we are grateful for the insights as well. Thank you. So the next is we'd like to hear from OneQuantum Zambia as well on how Zambia is doing, how they got started. We want to learn from these people so that we can actually look at how we want to start as Ghana as well, and where do we start from. So Lauren, if you don't mind telling us something.
Thank you. So definitely the start can be a bit hectic, depending on the stance of the country, of course, because the research and maybe how open government is to new ideas is different from country to country. But I would say a good start would be to just create awareness, and the moment people are aware, they can start trying to fit it into their day-to-day lives. And one of the ideas I got when we launched OneQuantum Zimbabwe was that another way to reach out to people, to the audience, or even to government, is to find problems within Ghana and see how best quantum can help in those regards. Taking, for example, the previous IBM Quantum Challenge, the African one, it had good ideas on farming, which is something that as Africans we do a lot. It also had some challenges on HIV, so how best to solve that, optimize that. So those give good ideas. At the moment, as for Zimbabwe, we are still at a point where we are trying to create more awareness, but people are warming up to the idea. We're at a point where we are able to have conversations with other top officials in government, and they are warming up to it. And it's good the Bureau of Quantum is that it's diverse, so at least you can have, like what you already mentioned, Dorcas, it's something that people in finance can take part in, so people in physics. So I think one of the theories that is not very accurate that people could have, that you could also try to dispel, is that quantum computing is either for physicists only or for people who are doing computer science, software engineering, in the IT fields, of which that is not necessarily the case. I feel it's for everyone. So people should at least be aware that everyone can take part in it and have a role to play. So at the moment, we have been trying to educate, because we have realized the importance of the youth being involved, because they are the future. So the moment we have them involved and they are aware, it's something they grow up with in mind, and then in the future, they are the ones who can be able to implement and make use of it. So at the moment, we are still trying to create awareness, educate people, let people know that quantum is for everyone. It's not necessarily for physicists only or for IT students, but rather it's quite inclusive. And I think you should make noise about it. I really like the graphic. I'm not sure what aquaba or ba means, but I've seen it. I've seen you posting and making noise about it, which is good, because I've realized at many times people might be quiet, like you might think no one in Ghana is noticing because no one is responding, but trust me, they are noticing and eventually they will respond. So even if you are to reach out to someone right now after they've seen this post, you are not new, you're not a stranger to them. They will warm up to you because, you know, people are always open to someone they know. So even if you have never had a conversation, they'll say, oh, you know, Dorcas once saw a beautiful graphic. Oh yeah, she talked about OneQuantum. Oh yeah, she's involved in this. So that way it helps your communication with either government or researchers. And you could also look at, we're also trying to look at problems in that are specific to Zimbabwe. Like sometimes we have water challenges, like availability of clean water in certain areas. So we can try to find, researchers try to find how quantum can play a role in that and help solve that problem. So in that way, government is more open to funding because we are doing something that can help the country. So I think that would be my contribution, and I wish the best to OneQuantum Ghana, and I'm happy to be part of this launch. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lauren from OneQuantum Zimbabwe. That was great. So the question now is, Ghana, OneQuantum Ghana, where do we start from? So from the circulation we made, you realize that one of the agenda was to talk about quantum science, quantum communication, and outreach activities. How do we get it out there for people to hear about quantum computing? How do we get people involved? How do we do that communication, that science communication? How do we send it out to people? So this is where the discussion comes in, and our contributions are very necessary for the future of OneQuantum Ghana, or quantum computing actually in Ghana. So now I open for discussion. Where do we fit in as Ghanaians? Where do we start from? How do we start? And what are expectations or some of the activities we would like to do? So we are now taking your submissions.
On that, I think a good idea would to start that could help is to find an already gathered group. Like at a university, we already have a group of students, you already have a group of lecturers. So in a way, you already have people that are already gathered for you. You don't necessarily have to start gathering the people one person at a time. So you somehow have a group of people gathered. So it's good to start with reaching out to a group that's already gathered, because you already have a lot of people that you reach out to maybe in one effort. And also what could make it easier is to maybe start, in as much as it's for everyone, it's easier for maybe physicists or people in computer science, in those fields, to understand more of it as something they might have heard of before. So you could start by maybe having a team with such people who are already interested, like someone already mentioned, after their education or something, they were already interested. So the moment they're already interested, it means they are easier to move. And also do not reach out to everyone and anyone, because that's where some people are not aware. So it's not like they are not interested or do not want to take part. They might have ideas, but they don't know who to share the ideas with. So at least if they know that they can be part of a community, they can be part of OneQuantum Ghana, then they can they can contribute to that. So my advice would be maybe try to find people that are already gathered, like maybe a university or lecturers. It's already somewhat a group that is gathered for you. Find people who have an idea of they're easier to move in this direction rather than someone who is still who doesn't have much knowledge on it. You could also look at problems that Ghana is facing that you feel quantum could help solve or improve, and then that way it's easier to maybe find funding or to also have other researchers take part, because everyone wants to make sure that their country is made better and the conditions in their country are best for them to live in.
Thank you, Lauren. Please, let's take more contributions. So, what is happening in terms of innovations?
Okay. Hi, Dorcas.
Hi, Ishmael.
I only got to be aware of this today, but I've heard of it a couple of times from Comfort and other guys who are into quantum computing. But my contribution to this is first to create awareness. Majority of people maybe in Ghana are in one way or another doing some research or other activities that are more related to quantum computing, but of course they might not be aware that that's what they are doing actually is involving quantum computing. The only thing that we need to do is to first of all create awareness, make people know that this is the future and this is what we want to establish and this is what we want to do. And that means having to consult some stakeholders in various universities. As you said, you have some groups already existing in various campuses. And all what these groups have to do is first to create awareness by consulting some stakeholders who are already up and doing in the various fields. And once we do that, we then have this whole one body consortium that have an agenda. Then we can bring some problems, as was mentioned by our sister who just spoke about some of the problems that we are facing in the country. I know we have issues with energy, and quantum energy is at the forecourt and playing much role in that. So there are various avenues that we can think of and bring ideas on board in solving some of the major challenges in Ghana. That's my take on this.
Okay, thank you, Ishmael. Create awareness. Yes, indeed, we need to create awareness. We actually do quantum computing courses in most of the institutions, like KNUST, Legon as well, UCC, I know, and University of Education, Winneba, I know as well. It's running programs in quantum mechanics, but not quantum computing. So I think this is another great way to start as well. And like Ishmael mentioned, there are few people who are also doing research but might not know that it's actually quantum computing they are doing. So like South Africa president was asking, in terms of innovations, a lot is going on. The tech industry in Ghana is actually growing, and now AI and machine learning is doing so well in terms of research and other activities. But quantum computing is not much heard of in Ghana. So we are now getting there, gradually getting there with quantum computing, getting people on board, like we all suggested, creating the awareness, getting people on board, those who are already working in that field. So it's when we come together, we learn from each other, then I think we can take up projects as well and look at projects like someone mentioned in the chat, traffic minimization and agriculture. You need more people and more hands on that. So thank you so much for your wonderful contribution. Please, more contribution.
Hello, Lucas.
Yes, please.
So from my point of view, I understand quantum computing is still in its developmental stages, and so the thing that I worry about is what is the current use cases, and in particular, what is Ghana looking towards to to using the quantum computing infrastructure to solve problems. The reason I'm asking is Mike is on, from his introduction, if I understand correctly, I think he is more into the quantum computing itself. So with respect to Ghana, I guess I just want to understand, with the current development in quantum computing, which of course is still in developmental stages, are there use cases that are quite that will be relevant at the moment, other than research, which is to boost our understanding and also to, of course, contribute to building the quantum computer itself before we actually have a groundbreaking for usage as we use classical computers? So maybe Mike may share a little. I don't have much understanding of the current use cases yet. Maybe that would help towards the conversation.
Sorry, Dorcas, your mic is off.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, we wanted to hear from you, Mike.
Oh, sorry, I was talking to someone. What was the question?
Yeah, so we all know you are already in that field, doing
Yes.
some research and other stuff in quantum computing. So
Yeah.
Ghana is just starting. We are not there at your level yet, so we may not know some of the applications actually ongoing, some of the works that are already going. That would be relevant to Ghana as well. And we are looking at how to build our community.
Okay. So you want my general thoughts on that, I guess?
Yes, your suggestion and contributions.
Okay. I probably have a lot to say and a lot to think about, but what I'll say for now is, since the primary goal of your OneQuantum as an organization is capacity building and community building, I think really, like, if you could get like a community of, or a group of people who are good in training and outreach, because a lot of what you can do in the meantime, from Ghana's perspective, a lot of what you can or should do in the meantime is capacity building, helping people to understand what quantum is all about and how it will transform industries in Ghana, right? And at some point, and also it has to influence government. It has to influence policy, because it very soon we need to start like having different relationships with different countries in Africa and different countries along the world, having industry partnerships, and people in government need to understand all of what is going on and all of how quantum is changing things. So one way I could help, for instance, if I was part of this community, is really teaching and training people, right? Because I'm a PhD in quantum computing, and I have a mathematical and theoretical physics background in general physics. So I'm like really deep into physics research. But if you look at quantum computing as a large industry, the number of actual physics researchers you need is actually quite small compared to a lot of the other things you need. You need software engineers, you need marketing, you basically need everything that any industry that you can think of will need, right? But a lot of these people, even though they are not necessarily full-time physicists, they have to have a certain understanding of quantum. So I would say start from a place of capacity building. And one of the really good things is there's a lot of material, like online tutorials and newsletters, white papers from a lot of the big players in the space. So bringing together people who can do community outreach materials, videos, talks and stuff, really taking people through all of these things. Because I heard during the introductions, a lot of people are saying that I don't work in quantum, but I've gotten interested in quantum. So where are the places where all of us can start from? What are the things that we can start learning? So just to summarize my contribution over, my contribution or my suggestion is really go down and focus on teaching people, capacity building, helping people to understand quantum and how to transform the industries in Ghana. Yeah. If you have any questions, you can ask me and I can follow up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. That was great. It's great to hear from you, and it's great to know that you're also available for online tutorials and workshops and to help us walk through quantum computing and get more people on board. And I'm so happy to hear that. And I'm happy to know that I'm counting my resource personnel and yeah, it's great to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm here. So if you need anyone to talk on, if you need someone to talk on something, I can always stop by and help out.
That's great. Thank you so much. So Ghana still have more people on board. We have Mike. We have Comfort as well, who is also into quantum computing. So I think we are getting our resource personnel who are going to be of help so much. Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. We are gradually going. I mean, I think we are there already. Yeah, so can we hear from him?
On the question of the use cases, perhaps the first thing, if you look, I'll talk towards an industry perspective, right? Or what currently South Africa, I guess maybe most major industries in the continent are in terms of the state of technology. So most industries now are mostly moving towards data-centric as well as AI-based system. So by that, I mean they're trying to incorporate all their operations and systems into AI-based platforms or artificial intelligence platforms where those systems are machines that are intelligent and are able to mimic human behavior. So that's where they're going for. This is, I think, the start. They're not finally there. So for example, because I work in banking, so in there, for example, how their client interface, now they've incorporated chatbots. You will see it across many platforms where now they're trying to see, can we have, if we were to remove that human element at a specific time where it's not able to actually answer certain queries that the client may have, can that, how efficient or how capable can this intelligent system in terms of a chatbot be able to answer those specific questions relating to that. Now, when you bring a conversation of quantum, then the first thing is, but what is it that currently we're doing that we can't achieve? So it starts from that point if you interact with most of the people, but I'm mostly speaking in terms of the financial sector. And you saying in terms of, for example, one thing I've picked out is in terms of credit lendings. So they have a model in place which they called scorecards, where this is a risk model which actually tells you whether how the affordability of someone applying for credit, as well what amount can they qualify for and what risk will the bank have. So that traditionally is based on statistical or predictive modeling. Now, how efficient is that? I think that's the question. So it goes back to what, for example, the various people have spoken, that can we find that problem that, or what is it that the industry cannot efficiently do, or even if they're doing it, but help us, can we optimize that that problem? And now if AI fails, can we then look at what quantum actually has? For example, this is the case in machine learning, and then why do we now suddenly have quantum machine learning? What is it that we couldn't optimize in terms of machine learning but we can better optimize when we've mapped the problem to a quantum system. So on an industry perspective, they're still trying to get AI based in those their operations to be AI enabled, understand all AI ethics, everything. So we're moving from the traditional base of doing these things in a traditional way towards AI based. Then the next leap will be, this doesn't work, how can you efficient, because industries mostly they're concentrated on how to best optimize so that they meet that competitive advantage or arise. So it'll be next, how can I get something that enables? So one problem I've seen, it's around credit scoring, which forgot the researchers that actually did was they observed, for example, the feature selection. So in machine learning, there's a stage where you reach where you now have to say, of all the input variables that I've given, which ones are very important. Now that process at the moment for most industries, maybe in researchers it has advanced, it still has that human behavior where now as a human you have to stop and think, does keeping this or throwing away this variable logically makes business sense or not? So you still have that human input. Then of course you have deep learning coming in and saying, yeah, we can push that and saying we can have a system that can self detect whether you don't need that human interaction to it. Now, where is the quantum advantage that comes there for offering speed ups to the computation they have? Currently, most industries use GPU computation. It has accelerated, for example, the runtimes of many machine learning-based models. But then if you incorporate now quantum, or what D-Wave terms a QPU, then most of like your optimization problems could have a better outcome. So it's you saying to the business, you have this way to do it, the traditional way. Here, what are you saving? What are your costs versus the quantum case? This is the one way you can achieve the same results, but at a lower cost and in the faster way. So of course, business will take the one which has definitely lower costs and is able to do that in a faster way. So being able, those are some of the like use cases like we're trying to put in business, but it's very important to ask the question, where are they at in terms of of technology? Once they've described that, okay, we're at this certain stage, how can quantum actually help them to reach that competitive edge? Traffic management or optimization, it's an African problem. There have been startups in AI, those looking at that, because for me it's like an optimization problem. Maybe like those who would be familiar, of course, graph networks, you have to, a thing that you have to actually use. But in terms of use cases, I'm particularly familiar in the financial services sector. There are not a lot of investment banking. So for example, if you look the West, whether that mean US and other European countries, their advantage is mostly on investment banking, which offers like asset management as well as portfolio optimization. But what is unique to us? I think we have to start with what is unique to us. Many credit lendings, I think, is one of the issues. Okay, perhaps now speaking in the South African context, that's what I know. But across in other industries, in healthcare and agriculture, of course, determining the best crop yield size, that also boils down to an optimization problem. Can the current technology be able to solve it? If we were to take the same problem and map it to a quantum system, how does it actually look like? So those are the first few things we can say, this is how you're doing it, but let's look at the advantage of using this. And then from there, you can drive that conversation. I think I've spoken a lot more than enough. Thanks to this.
Yeah, that was so deep, taking us the industry way. Thank you so much. I think we'll get there. Ghana will get there as well. Yeah, so I think most of the things we wanted to discuss today was the building a strong community through science communication and outreach activities, which contributions have been made on that, and exploring pathways to build local community. So it was discussing partnership opportunities with commercial companies and open source community as well, which our sister from South Africa had made a lot of inputs on that as well. And I mean, we've had some creative ideas and how to go about it, where to start from. And I mean, we are saying we need all hands on board. Ghana needs all of us. We need your wonderful ideas. We need you to share your quantum journey with us. We'll fall on you for talks, seminars, your great contributions and all that. In terms of workshop, now we know we have someone to take us through an introduction to quantum computing workshop, which is so great that we have people already. Mike and his team are there to support us in those terms. And we are happy to hear from all of you, all your wonderful ideas and all that. We just take a few more contributions from you. And I mean, since this is our first time and gathering all your wonderful ideas, we'll put something out so beautifully, share with all of us and come back again. So we have 2 links sent to the chat. So Michael has shared his LinkedIn account with us. So you can connect with him on LinkedIn. You can as well share yours with us and connect with you. Then we have a link on our newsletter. So kindly subscribe to OneQuantum Ghana's newsletter to be updated on whatever information, whatever activities we plan having. Then I also have a link there which we need your information, your details to connect with you, to entangle with you as well. And that as well is there. So please kindly don't forget to fill the form for us. So let's take 1 or 2 contributions for the day.
Hello.
Hi, please.
Thank you very much for hosting such a wonderful session. You know, it's being first of its kind is, you know, it looks like something that you've been doing beforehand, and I really commend you. Okay, as a contribution to what the two persons that made their contributions, they actually laid a lot of vital points, because it's kind of the approach I'm structuring for my chapter here. Besides, I shared some papers which are a few of the papers that are helping me structure a quantum computing curriculum, because it's currently my area of research. And like the lady from South Africa said, there are a lot of applications, and the only way people can connect to these technologies is that they can see the impact in what they are doing. Like if they can, you know, see the difference it can bring into their own enterprise, then they would listen to you. So before now, I had already structured a kind of an introductory course to quantum gates. So it kind of clashed with this event. So I will reschedule it. So I intend to also go through the educational aspect of things because though you don't need a quantum physics degree to be in quantum, but I happen to have a background in physics, and currently researching in areas of quantum simulation. So the other guy that has opted out to take on a tutorial, I'm really interested in that too, because as much as I'm researching in this field, I'm open to learn. I don't overlook any means to learn something new when I see, even though it's something that I know already, because down here I'm in a university, so it's just that it's been kind of difficult to get people, to get students' interest. But gradually, I've been making a little progress. I've met like 2 people who are interested, and also, so I intend to go through the educational aspect of things, unveiling those crazy circuit implementation and optimization problems, and people in engineering control theory, if they could see that the same thing that you do in optimal control, you can still use algorithms like quadratic unconstrained binary optimization algorithm to perform to optimize your systems depending on the system you're studying. So I'm really interested in any form of tutorials or hands-on program. Perhaps we've been to so many hackathons, but we never stop learning. So whichever way one intends to establish any form of learning, I'm interested. So I think that's all. So I feel like Ghana has to go through educational aspect of things, like educating people so they can see the value. Because if they don't see the value, they would see it as one of those quantum physics thing. So I believe that's my contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. We'll take a last submission. Okay, so we have Joseph. Joseph, please kindly unmute yourself.
Right, Zagusia, thank you so much. And thank you for such a wonderful program and organization. My area is not in quantum. You know me to be a statistician. But in fact, I followed the discussion so nicely. And it sounds so good. I mean, it's a very good initiative. I didn't get the first aspect of it, but for who I'm gathering, it sounds good. You were asking how, the way forward. Like I said, I don't have much understanding this quantum, but I'm ready to get into it to see how it works and how I can blend it with the statistics. Like someone is asking how you solve the traffic problem in Ghana. It has been one of the issues that I see that we need to see a way forward as scientists. And I know there are so many practical ways that we can blend this with other areas and those of us in other fields, so I can come out with a better way of helping Quantum Ghana. Now, what I want to say is that you try to organize it in the best way, from national to regional to district. If you can start having a national team, have a regional team, have a district team. And then throughout these teams, you can also have those at the university. I don't know about the technical universities if you have gotten us involved. You mentioned of King University and other universities, Legon and stuff. But I know the technical universities are also hands-on training. We are even into more of the technical than that of these traditional universities. So get us involved. I can play a very good role by helping organize the TUs from the grassroots, that is from the student level up to the managerial level. So we are ready to help and support you and keep the good work up. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph Johnson. Thank you. Thank you so much for the future, for all the help and the contributions you have already started making into quantum computing or the tech industry in Ghana. So I will urge you to kindly subscribe to our newsletter and kindly fill the form for me so that I can follow up with you on that. Thank you so much. So we'll take our last contribution for the day, and we'd like to hear from Henry.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for making it up. Yes, there has been lovely and wonderful contributions throughout. I think just like Lawe and others have said, we will just have to go to the bottom and have it like a bottleneck system to get the students involved, as we will be able to speak to them and let them know what is really going on. I can say that for KNUST specifically, like Ishmael said, some of us are already involved. And for my department in physics, we have even currently put on a course with having quantum computing as one of the subjects. So we are currently in the position of letting the students understand what quantum computing and quantum simulation and all of that can be able to help our country, which is Ghana and Africa as a whole. So as we have all said, we will just take the wonderful contribution you have given to us, and then we will just hit the ground and then mobilize ourselves from time to time and see how we can move Ghana forward. Thank you very much, Dorcas, for the wonderful work you're also doing to get us involved in quantum computing. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you so much. So, Henry, you already have a visiting lecturer, Mike Nelson, or a full lecturer at KNUST for quantum computing. So he already has a PhD in quantum computing. So I think you have a visiting lecturer to invite to KNUST.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, I'm taking note of him and we'll surely invite him to come and speak to our students.
Yeah, that would be so great. That would be great.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, before I ask a question, I should say I was actually I was actually in KNUST. I graduated in 2011. I did electrical engineering at the time. So I think this goes to doctors, but how do we plan to reach out to the universities, the departments, and the students, like up and coming students who are interested in quantum? What's your general plan for connecting or building, like sort of building these communities? Yeah.
Oh, okay, so thank you so much. That's a good question. So currently I'm reaching through lecturers who are already in those departments, especially for those who are already running quantum mechanics program. So like KNUST, you have Henry there. Then Henry is introducing me to Lawe as well from KNUST. Then
no, University of Ghana.
University of Ghana. Yeah. Very true. So sorry. Yeah, from University of
Although I was a student of KNUST, although.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, so I mean, so it means there's Lawe as well. Then from so I'm currently at University of Education, so they also do a quantum mechanics course there as well. So I'm also getting a lecturer there involved. Then as well, there's UCC2. I'm talking to someone to also help. So getting in touch with the lecturers, I think then they'll be very supportive in reaching out to their heads of departments and taking it up from there as well. So when all these people are able to come together and with all those ideas, since the course is already running in some tertiary institutions, it will be easier to get their students on board, to introduce them to quantum computing workshops, to cascades and these workshops and seminars and all that. It will be easier. Then we can look at how to come down to the lower level, like the senior high schools especially. How do we set up a quantum computing program for them? It may not be a full course, but it can be through workshops. I don't know if I've answered your question, Mike.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. So once I know you have those connections with the faculty, I can talk to you or talk to anyone directly. Yeah. I'm also particularly interested because you said there are quantum mechanics courses, but are there any quantum computing courses?
No.
In the
so Mike, I can speak from University of Ghana.
Yeah, go ahead now. Is that allowed?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as far as I'm aware, in University of Ghana, from the Department of Mathematics, there isn't any program of such. The physics department, if I'm correct, there isn't much happening there either. So well, it will be great to at the moment. I think we are looking to add in different courses here and there. I don't know where it will appropriately sit, whether the maths department or the physics department. Traditionally, we know theoretical physics is done in the maths department in University of in Ghana, but in this regard, I don't know where it will appropriately sit. But as far as I'm aware, I don't know of any course that is being run on quantum computing. We don't have the expertise
there. When you come to KNUST, we currently have instituted or brought up a new program, which is mathematical and computational physics. So in this new program, which is mathematical and computational physics for MPhil and PhD, we have a course in there as quantum computing. But then it's an optional course, just like we have quantum simulation. That is to say, you are looking at the classical and then the quantum dynamics. So it is to choose between the quantum computing, or you choose between the classical simulation, looking at the molecular dynamics aspect. So we have a course like that. We are just, in fact, it's a new program. So we are just to get our first batch on rolling. But then again, it then lies upon the student to choose that option or not. And again, we have also started a program which was already there, but due to lectureship problems, it wasn't running, which is physics with applied mathematics. That is to go down to the undergraduate level, that is the bachelor's, to let them know what quantum mechanics and all of those simulations can really be helpful. So we have currently started that. And so in the next academic year, all of this will be rolling up in the physics department in KNUST.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for your wonderful contribution. So I was closing when I saw a hands up for more than 5 minutes. So I'll just call him to make a comment. Siama, you can unmute yourself.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful program, and I think I don't use the word blessed, but we are all ready to take part of this revolution. One of my friends is part of it. He's also we learn together, and we teach young kids, which is lower levels programming, which is computing. And we've been doing it for 3 years now. So when we got to know of quantum computing, we took part of some of these challenges that they'll be holding. So this quantum thing that they did, which is this the one organized by the South Africans, the one that they just ended. We took part, and we got to know that we can actually bring it down to a lower level to teach these young kids. So when I got to know that, I think you are on board, which is you're in Ghana here trying to organize this, my friend introduced me to you, and I got to know that I should link up with you. At least we can try to bring it from a high level, which is from the university level, even to a lower level of teaching our young kids how to program. The reason I'm saying this is that normally when kids, when they are young, and you don't push them into such a difficult complex, me myself, I'm ready to push hard at it so that we can use it to at least help our country, Ghana, to move the country forward also. Thank you.
Thank you, Siama. It's great to know that you have been doing this for a while, this outreach program in programming, teaching kids programming. I'm very happy to connect with you and work with you as well. So please kindly connect with me. I've sent a link to the chat. Kindly fill the form. Let's get your details and let's get it rolling as well. With your team members too. That would be great. So all too soon, it looks like it's all coming to an end, but it has not ended as well, because it is a journey we are taking, and that journey has just started. So we gratefully acknowledge your support, your time, your dedication today, your commitment to this quantum community as well. And for the future, for whatever you'll be making, the inputs you are going to make, we acknowledge them so much. Thank you as well for everything. For our sisters from other countries, Nigeria, Cameroon, Zambia, South Africa, thank you for supporting OneQuantum Ghana. And thank you that the network is growing together as well. So there's OneQuantum Africa, which we are all under. So please kindly check OneQuantum Africa on your social network and follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn especially. That is where most of the quantum information you could get it from. You won't get it from Facebook. Please, it's LinkedIn for us. So please kindly go to LinkedIn. That's where most network, in terms of research, academics, you get all those informations there. So if you have not signed up on LinkedIn, please kindly do so and get connected to more people in this field as well. Thank you for all your time. As we bring to a closure, if you don't mind, we can put our videos on to take a picture together. If you don't mind to put your videos on. Please, I think I need someone to take the picture for me. It looks like my keypad is frozen, please. Please, someone take a picture for me. Please, someone taking a picture.
Stop sharing so that we can have the whole thing.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so I heard the loud sound, the click sound. So I think someone did for me. Thank you so much. It was great having all of you. So kindly watch out for our next
Dr. Doka.
call. Bye.
Bye.